Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Betsy. It's Rhonda. And Betsy is with us fine. It's Rhonda and Betsy with Boost Power Radio. And today we've got a really special show for you. Betsy is actually in Argentina. Say hi, Bets.
Don't cry for me. I'm in Argentina.
I know. Well, you're in Argentina, and I got to go to Aurora. Somehow that's wrong. It's just wrong.
Yeah. Well, it's a rainy day in Argentina. I'm interviewing some guests for the show, and I'm wishing everybody a great show. You've got a great lineup today.
Yeah, I am so excited. We've got some wonderful people. So good morning. I'll just welcome you all to the show. This is Rhonda Shea, and you're listening to Boost Power Radio. As you plug in for some uplifting ideas, super cool women to support you and your world, sister style. We've got some great interviews today. We are here for you to deliver interviews on purpose and discover choice points from the journeys of these incredible women who will be with us today, and learn something new, be inspired, and connect to your own life. Plus, everything is all about the fun, and we're going to have a lot of fun today with the guests. This week's show's a little different. As we mentioned, Betsy is in Argentina, and she's joining us by phone, so hopefully we won't lose her. It's a little sketchy sometimes. Today, to get us started in our Good Works segment, we have Joni McKenzie, and she is here via video. Betsy, you did the interview, and it was really incredible. Betsy, wasn't that fun? Are you there?
It's a wonderful guest.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Uh-huh. And
Janine is a wonderful guest.
She is. She is going to be a great guest, and the interview is really fun. And then we have the Thought You News segment, and we have a special guest with us from the North Metro Chamber. Her name is Sina Milanazzo, and so she'll be joining us to talk about her incredible business journey and life journey, and it's really something. And also on our Good News segment, we have Jerry Keir. And Jerry is just an amazing woman. She just got back from Nepal and I believe Australia. She's been up to Mount Everest numerous times and has done some incredible things. She's a health coach and also coaches on nutrition and things of that nature. And she's going to give us some best tips on healthy living. So, as in every show, we share good times for you to join us all around the community and support our charity partners and our friends and have fun doing it. So, Betsy, we're going to run the interview with Jonine coming up right now. I think Henry's getting that online. So that's what's coming up next. And just stay on the phone because we're going to be chatting with you throughout the hour.
Okay. Or I get to say goodbye to everyone.
We are so happy.
I know it's going to be a really action-packed show.
Okay. So we'll do that because it's kind of hard to keep you on there. So say goodbye to everybody and have fun in Argentina. Bring me back something cool.
So, okay, I'll work on that. Everybody. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Betsy. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, I'll just slide over that a little bit. Okay, now
our first remote broadcast for Boost Power Radio with the amazing Janine McKenzie, back from her national travels, out taking the good news about relationships and just healthy skills to help the world work. Janine, welcome to Boost Power Radio.
Thanks so much. It's nice to be here.
Today, we are in front of probably 70,000+ people, so we're so happy to just get to know you a little bit and some of your. Rhonda and I just have some general questions. So let's, tell everybody a little bit about your background. I know you're a nurse. I know you took a proactive stand in education. So give them the thumbnail of who the heck is Janine McKenzie?
Well, thanks for having me, Betsy and Rhonda. I'm so excited to be here. About 25 years ago, I was PTA president in Evergreen, Colorado, and my 7th grade son, I have 4 children, and my 7th grade son brought a permission slip home to learn about his body in science class, and I thought, that's odd. Why would you need a permission slip to learn about your body? Isn't that when you learn about your body is in science class? So what I did was I went to go see what they were teaching, and it was reproductive science, but it was reproductive body parts, and then contraception. And I said, I think you're missing a piece. How do you get from body parts to contraception? So the teacher said that they've been teaching this forever, and I started looking into it. And I said, I'm going to be a problem solver rather than just a whiner. And I thought, how could I create some relationship skills and some things to add to that piece that he was teaching? But I brought together a bunch of young people that I was teaching Red Cross babysitting and CPR, because as a nurse, I was doing some classes on enrichment, and I brought them all together with the permission of their parents. And I asked them, what do you guys want to know about sex? And some of them almost swallowed their tongue because adults don't ask kids what they want to know. And all of the questions about relationships. But that was in 1991, 92, and there was no Google back then. And I had to go to library, to bookstore, to library, to bookstore to find the answers to these incredible relationship questions like how far is too far, how will I know I'm in love, does anybody ever stay together anymore? And I was getting frustrated. And then somebody told me that there's a repository of research at the University of Denver Center for Marital and Family Studies. And I said, there's research about this? Are you serious? So I parked myself at the University of Denver. I got to know some of the professors over there. I befriended them, and I said, I need 5 skills to learn about friendship. And then I need 5 skills to learn about romance. And I need 5 skills to learn about relationships in the workplace. And lo and behold, I went back to teaching this in the school because the teachers allowed me to teach it. The parents loved it. They brought in the Denver Post. They did a cover story on it. And within a year, I was in 40 schools. And then I realized I hit a nerve, something was missing, and I took a loan out, and I brought together a bunch of experts, people who know about child pedagogy, how kids learn, and we embarked on this relationship curriculum. And now we have 11 curricula working with all ages and stages of relationship. And it has been very exciting to train teachers and people across the country to do this in their communities, because don't we need to learn how to love well in this country?
Wow. Okay, and let's see, I got up and took a shower.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you got, Rhonda?
Nothing. I got nothing.
Okay, Janine's got teaching the world about
I do
relationships.
have one guy that I've loved for a lot of years.
Yeah. How many years have you been married, Rhonda?
30, almost 37. But we've known each other for over 40.
Okay, Janine,
Well,
what about you?
That's an accomplishment. Well,
37 years.
that's an accomplishment. And you know what? I would have loved to have been married 37 years. In
Sometimes.
fact, yes. And in fact, when you hear somebody in an audience say they've been married 31 years, 41 years, what do they get? A round of applause. Why? Because it's so unusual. It's so unusual in this culture. And so I actually was married for 20 years. It was a hard marriage, but I was committed to it, and I thought he was committed to me. And all of a sudden he didn't want to be married anymore, and he left our family. And it blew up my life. It blew up the lives of my children. And although I'm remarried now, I'm deliriously happy, that I feel like that even though my children got counseling, they still have the effects of divorce. And in fact, we learned from the research that divorce never ends. Divorce never ends.
No, it doesn't. I don't think that. My parents were divorced when I was 6, and that was unusual for somebody who's in their 60s. And you deal with that ramification of that, whether it's at the wedding, who's going to sit by who, or any of those things the rest of your life, I think.
The rest of your life. And when the baby's born, and the holidays, and weddings, and funerals, and who's invited and who's not invited, all that drama, can we somehow be done with that? Now, I know that sometimes marriages need to end because they're violent, they're toxic, they don't enhance your life, they're horrible, and I know that happens. But wouldn't it be great if we could, on the front end, give people skills to learn about compatibilities, to learn the research about what makes relationships work, what makes relationships fail. And on the top of that, guess who benefits the most? Children. When children are born into a healthy 2-parent family, all the research would tell us they do better. They do better in their brain architecture. They do better in school. They do better with their own relationships. They do better financially. They do better emotionally, socially, spiritually. They do better in every category. They have access to more health care. They have access to more money and more resources because of the financial ramifications. And that's what I want to see happen. I want to see people, I call it human thriving. We have to figure out a way to have human thriving, community thriving, so that the country works.
Absolutely. Well, so the people that are listening, this is Boost, so we're always about how do we boost them up. So if you look across all of your classes and all the research, what would be 3 skills that you would say are the most important things for people to focus on? You know, that they could actually learn more, get some of your classes, do some reading, and really make a difference in their life. What would be the 3 skills you would point out for our listeners today?
Well, the first thing I think that people need to do is do some self-discovery. They need to do some self-assessments around their personality. How do they feel loved? Their love languages. What is their passion and purpose? What are their gifts and talents? What do they bring to a relationship? The second thing in regards to self-discovery, they need to know what they want. What are your expectations of a relationship, even a relationship in the workplace, a relationship in your family, relationships in romance or friendship? What do you expect from a friend? Those kind of things need to be written down. They need to be actually concrete. It can't be kind of airy-fairy thoughts. They have to really be written down, because if you write down what you want, somehow the universe brings it to you. And it just says to you, you attract what you want. You attract that confidence. And then the second thing I think you need to understand and learn is how to choose a partner. Compatibilities. What are some of the research-based points that you should really have in common? Now, you don't have to have everything in common. You don't have to have be a carbon copy of one another, because if that's the case, one of you is unnecessary, because growth happens in a healthy relationship. But then the third thing also is conflict resolution. Everybody has conflict. It's how you fight, how you are able to get out of that conflict or resolve that conflict. Because if you have a win-lose attitude about conflict, then guess what? Somebody's always going to feel like the loser, and you have to be the winner. And I can tell you, with somebody, that nobody likes to be a loser. So you need to have a win-win kind of mentality. And that's a skill. That's a skill. So those are the kind of things that we teach.
Now, when was your path, personally, when was your path, business or personal, tough? And what path did you choose? How did you overcome that, or how did you change direction to make that work for you instead of against you?
Right. Well, I've always wanted to be about relationships, always. And right after we launched our first curriculum, money came out from the federal government, from the Clinton administration, believe it or not, to reduce poverty by asking communities and giving money to communities to do a different kind of sex ed. And then we were retained by a lot of different states to do this different kind of sex ed. And then we got the moniker and the label that we were sex ed. And we are not sex ed. We are relationship education. But, and then there's this fight, this cultural war about abstinence education, comprehensive sex education, and there is a culture war. And, I feel like that was huge, because we stay in the primary prevention buckets, and we really don't teach about contraception. We don't distribute contraception. We don't demonstrate contraception. We talk about contraception and its efficacy, but we're really about relationships and not about sex ed. So when people say, well, you don't talk about this and you're withholding information and you're doing this and you're doing that, I hate being misunderstood. That's really difficult, to be misunderstood, and to have other people in the press defining us. It's so frustrating, because, truth can go around the world a lie can go around the world before truth comes out. And so that's been frustrating. So what we did was we got really intentional about changing our curriculum, about making it inclusive to all relationships, whether you're gay, whether you're straight, whether you're young, whether you're old, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, black or white, because we all live in this human space. We all live in the human space. My husband and I travel a lot, and we go all around the world, and we find that the human condition is the same. People laugh at the same things. It doesn't matter what culture you're from. Kids do the same things. They fight with their siblings. They cry when they're hungry. Maslow talks about what we all need to self-actualize. He doesn't say, well, whites need this, and blacks need this, and gays need this, and straights need this. The fact is, we all need that. So we were very intentional about staying in the relationship space, letting people know that we're not sex ed. We might have a small sexual health component. We're primary prevention. By the time you get to contraception, that's an intervention. Okay. And we actually promote a curriculum that we have for those young people who are sexually active and who are going to see a clinical specialist, whether it's a doctor, a pregnancy center, Planned Parenthood, wherever they go to get a pregnancy test, to get contraception. We are actually training these workers to not only give them what they need medically, whether it's contraception, condoms, whatever, but also help them analyze the health of their relationship.
So would you say that the issue was that they were kind of pigeonholing you into one area?
Absolutely.
And then your path was to expand that and to make sure that people got you chose to use that and then pivot outward.
Pivot to a different place, be very intentional, and do press releases, get on the radio, do TV. I write a column for the paper. Making sure people know that we're all about relationships, and even where the money was coming from. We started getting different grants from different places.
What did you learn from solving that issue? Did you learn that you could share with someone about their business?
Well, I think that if you wanted to pivot from one place to another place, you need to have a strategy. You need to be very intentional. You need to write it down. You need to have goals. You need to have benchmarks. You need to have assessments of how you're doing. You need to say who's responsible for what. It needs to be very written out and very planned.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, we like to do a global statement for women because people are listening and they're, in their car, they're on their podcast. So if you were just speaking into the hearts and minds of our listeners, what would be kind of your global statement to boost them up in their own career, their own life, their own relationships? What would you say to them?
Well, first of all, this is your relationships matter. They matter to your health. They matter to your overall wellness, your sense of well-being, and your finances. They matter to your children. They matter to your family. They matter to who you work with. And so you need to know that relationships just don't happen. They work by feeling. They don't work by feelings. They work by intentionality and behavior. And we have been doing relationships by feelings. Oh, I love this person. I fell in love. Guess what? What's so great about falling? It shows that.
I think that's your global statement. What's so great about falling?
Let's not fall. Let's grow into a place. Let's do it with skills and intentionality and purpose. We call it, with Dr. Scott Stanley and his wonderful work at DU, deciding rather than sliding.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Decide rather than slide. Well,
great.
The other fun thing we do is we've given you a card deck of fun cards. They miraculously appeared on your lap. And you don't get to look at that side. You just have to randomly pick one and do an answer. And so read the card. Read the card and make the answer.
Describe the three best things and the three worst things about, this is the first kid, about school this year. Okay? So
about work this year.
Let's say about work this year.
Okay.
And this is actually bringing what's in yourselves forth, giving it a voice. Questions like these are so good because we know what's in there, like spaghetti sauce. We know what's in there. We have to give it voice. We have to give it voice. And when we give it voice and we say, what are the three best things and what are the worst things about work? Then you have it written down and you can celebrate the good stuff and then you can actually change the stuff that you don't like.
Okay, so come clean on yours.
Come clean quickly.
Okay, the best things about work. My team. I'm a great team. We have a great space. We have a great strategy. We have a great board of directors. And we have great partners. So those are the three things.
Right.
And then what I'd like to change is the fact that we have some issues with sustainability. We want to get away from grants and be more sustainable in the community. And we want to do more sales and that kind of thing. We have to really work on making sure that the flexibility that we give people doesn't crowd out the workload that we have, because we have to get the job done. And the third thing is making sure that our strategy is being followed, because we have a tendency to be like squirrels. Oh, we have this opportunity and this opportunity and this person wants. No, we have to stay with our strategy. So that's what we need to do.
Great. Well, thank you for being a guest on the show. We really have enjoyed this, and like Betsy said, it's our first remote interview, but I'll say this, you look great on camera.
Thank you.
And we just so appreciate your time, Janine, and the great work you do in the world. And so tell people how to find out more about the Center for Relationship Education.
Well, they can go to our website, www.myrelationshipcenter.org, or they can call the office and talk to one of our incredible team members at 720-488-8888.
And can individuals use your services?
Well, we actually, they could come and get trained to be a trainer out in the community. We don't do like counseling sessions, but we do workshops and events, and we have a do-it-yourself marriage conference, and we work with the military, and we work with first responders.
And is all that on your website?
All of that's on our website.
And say the site again, please.
It's www.myrelationshipcenter.org.
And the phone number one more time.
720-488-8888.
So this is Janine McKenzie from the Center for Relationship Education. Give us a hi to everybody and a farewell. And the crowd goes wild.
All right, there we go. That was great. Let's slide on back in here. We've got our first guest, and we've kind of slid out of the way so you'd be able to see the TV in the background. And I am really excited to talk about our first guest today. She is with the North Metro Chamber, but more importantly, I got to get the right page. I want to make sure I talk about all these wonderful credentials. All right, we have Sina Milanazzo. ¿Cómo estás, Sina? One of my paisans here. And Sina has her own business, but she's also part of the North Metro Chamber of Commerce here in the north part of the metro area. And some of the things that she did, well, first of all, Sina has several businesses, and we're going to talk about them. Most of them are not typically female-oriented businesses either. Isn't that correct? That's right. And she's into succession planning. It's not a hobby. It's what makes a business sellable and marketable. And you're absolutely right. If it can't sustain beyond you, you can't sell. Mm-hmm. And that's the goal eventually, is to retire, right?
That's right. Pass it on.
That's right. And then networking. She's been working with the North Metro Chamber in Bloomfield and Longland area. And she's also, her primary business is Liberty Communications, which is a telecom business. She is part of a roofing company and a chemical company. So we're going to talk about how she got involved in those things, how she built them into a success, because it really is a true rags to riches, I think, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So, Sina, welcome.
Thank you.
So, tell us a little bit about your businesses.
So, with Liberty Communications, we are 13 years old, and we started as a cable company, just installing low voltage. About 7 years ago, I brought on telephone systems, and we've grown from $100,000 a year to $1.3 million.
Wow.
That's great.
And did you have a background in that? Like, how did you get involved in it?
In high school, I worked for a cable contractor, and then I worked for one of my brother's companies right out of high school, and then another cable company, and then I partnered with my brothers at BT Communications. They're still around as well. That company split up a little bit. And then now I'm with Liberty.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, you are part of the North Metro Chamber, and you're an ambassador, is that right?
Yeah.
The Chamber. Tell me what that is about.
The Chamber is the most amazing thing in my career here. It has so many great people that I can lean on and get advice from. And Greg Moss is one of those
He's
people.
great. He's great.
Yes, he's been very influential. I'm on boards now, and I'm just loving it.
That's awesome. And then you were nominated for a couple of awards from them, weren't you? Or two, right? And what were they? Tell us about that.
One of them was for Metro North Woman of the Year, which I did not win, but it was an honor.
That's all right. You got nominated. That's pretty cool.
Yes, and the other one was for in the technology industry for STEAM.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. And then what I wanted to do is, I know you have a couple of other businesses, and one is a roofing business. And I thought maybe you would share with us, because I know it's local, truly local. And one of the biggest ripoffs that you can deal with in your home ownership is getting a new roof. Because so many people come in, they buy a name from a company that's been here forever, and they claim to be local, and they are actually not, and you'll never see them again. So share the name of your company. Tell us a little bit about the roofing business.
It's Independence Roofing and Exterior, and we've been in business for 7 years. And it's my best friends who are my family as well. So all of these businesses I have are family owned and operated. And we just go out and we're repair experts and we do rebuilds and we do it right.
And you do any size from home to commercial to, all size properties?
Most of our work is in the residential field, but we do have some commercial as well.
Great. Well, now say the name of that again, because folks, there's a lot of hail in Colorado, and you've got to be so careful. I'm not saying to use these folks, but try to use people who are truly local and do some research and make sure they are. So, tell the name of your company again.
Independence Roofing and Exterior.
There we go. Okay, and then tell us about your I know you're involved in a chemical company. You're like you just get involved in all kinds of stuff.
Well, I'm kind of like you guys. I'm a serial entrepreneur.
I know.
All the way back from in the beginning when I can remember my dad selling Christmas trees in our front yard.
Oh, that's
So,
great.
yeah, come from a long line of entrepreneurs. But the chemical company is in Las Vegas, and it's just cleaning material is what it is for cars.
That's great. That's funny. We have that in common. My family I too have an Italian background, and they owned a fruit market at 44th and Pierce, and in the winter it sold Christmas trees. So I was always working selling Christmas trees.
You were my competitor.
There you go, right? Yeah, they're selling those trees. Okay, so what led you to how did you choose? And sometimes we don't choose. Sometimes it happens that we end up being in a business, and we have to choose how to make it right. How to do it right. Tell us a little about your journey into becoming a businesswoman, and some of the obstacles and choices you had to make along the way.
Well, without an education, a formal education, we're not talking about the school of hard knocks. People don't want to pay you what you really worth. And experience has a lot to give to businesses, and they just don't see it that way. You have to go to school. So I had to find my own way.
That's very, very true. And I think as we get further down the path too, there's a lot of assumptions about not just if you went to school, but also about age. That if you're a certain age, you're not going to understand the technology, or you're not going to be able to communicate to others, and that's simply not true. As if you kept up with it, and if you sit around and go, "Oh, the world's passing me by," oh my God, then that's absolutely true. But if you take the time to learn and to grow and to take your knowledge and apply it to the new skills, nothing's really new. Some of it, like when we do production, video production or radio production, people will say, "Hey, how'd you learn all that?" Well, it's the same thing as it was when it was tape and scissors, but it's just done on the computer now. And you just have to push yourself into those, learn those new areas.
That's right. I love technology. That's what my core business is.
It's tech, yeah.
It's technology. So it led me to go out and do some other educational things for myself, like learning how to program phone systems and what VoIP is. So now I can say I'm the expert in it.
I don't even know what that is. No, I do. I'm just kidding. But maybe tell people about that a little bit. It's really the way of the future.
Yes. So phone lines are going to be going away in the near future, the way we know them today, and most everything is going to go to VoIP in the cloud. It's less expensive for the providers to deliver that service to us by being in the cloud. So if you haven't embraced it, I would urge you to embrace it and pick a partner that's going to help you with it.
Great.
And guide you.
All right, so let's do this here. I want to say one little fact about you, and then we're going to talk about your global statement for people. And do you have the cards? I'm going to ask Megan. That's our assistant. Do you have the cards? Oh, we don't have them today. Okay. So I'll just ask you a question. I'll pretend. Okay. So anyway, Sina is a gourmet glamping chef. That's a fact that I know about her. And some of her well-known dishes are bacon wrapped scallops, brie cheese s'mores. That sounds wonderful. Oh my God. How do you make those?
You have brie cheese and a compote made out of blackberries, graham crackers, and dark chocolate.
Oh my God, that's just. Oh, you're coming back and you're bringing those. Happy hour pizza and strawberry margaritas. Okay, that's good. All right, she's my new best friend. A strawberry margarita and a brie cheese some more. That's it. I'm in. The other thing I want to do is when your path was tough, and I think you mentioned this briefly, but we have to kind of wrap it up quickly. What did you learn? What would be your global statement about what you've learned and how to build yourself into a business? Because it went from a small business to a business that's over $1 million, right?
Yes. I would say don't treat it as a hobby. You're in it till the end, and surround yourself with people who have your vision, are mentors and visionaries, and also just go for it.
I think that's great advice. I think a lot of times people do get kind of put one toe in the water and like jump right in. I think that's great and go for the whole thing. Right? Go for broke. That's awesome. Well, we don't have a card today, so I guess I'm just going to have to think of some girlfriend question to ask you.
Okay, I'm scared.
Oh my God. Okay, let's see. Who? You don't have to say their last name, but who was your first date and what did you do? Where did you go?
It was Gail, and went to Smokers, which is boxing.
Oh,
High school boxing.
high school boxing. There you go. I didn't expect that. I was waiting for movie, roller skating rink, boxing. That's great. Well, we really appreciate you being with us today. And coming up next, we have another incredible woman, Jerry Keir, who is going to be coming up and talking to us about her recent trip to Nepal and Mount Everest, as well as her business, which she is a coach and an energy specialist and stress management person, and she is just woman extraordinary. And thank you so much, Zena. We appreciate you being here today. You are just an awesome example of a great female business. Thank you. And we're going to bring Jerry in here in just a couple of minutes. And what I'm going to do is, while we're getting Jerry into the studio, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about her. The topics are nutrition, mobility, and of course, Nepal, which is one of my dreams to go to Mount Everest. Have you done that? Hi, Jerry.
Hello, Rhonda. Good to be
I
here.
know, it's good to see you. Jerry and I know each other, so this is a somewhat easy interview, and I've seen her presentation on many of her topics, and they're always wonderful. Today, I thought we'd mention a little bit about enzymes, how important digestive enzymes are, and some proper food, and the mobility. I love this statement: mobility is the currency of life, because we do lose geography as we get older.
Yes, yes, you do. Yes, you can. But it's not necessarily something you have to deal with. But yeah, you can lose geography, but you can always regain it back.
That's important, because that's what someone says. What do you lose when you get old? I said, well, you lose geography. First it's like, well, I don't want to travel this far, and then it's I can't do this, I can't ski, or I can't, and pretty soon it's like, well, I don't want to drive at night. And all of a sudden you start getting smaller and smaller until you can find one of those little nursing home rooms.
Yeah, no. So
we don't want that.
No, we don't want that, because when you're walking along and all of a sudden you start looking where your feet are because you're not sure that you're safely moving through your 3D world, that's a problem because you're getting ready for the walker.
Oh, yeah.
No, we don't want to go there.
Yep.
So yeah, you can always regain back.
And you've had 16 years in this field, right? Of nutrition and bringing hope and changing clients back to being healthy and fit and being able to be their best self.
Yes, I have 16 and a half years I have been doing this, after my first career ended.
And that was a photographer.
I was a photographer and had a tremor so bad I had to walk away from that career, sold that business, had no idea what I was going to do in my life, and so it was very scary to make that big transition, but my body broke down and I healed my body through food, and so that's how the transition happened, and that's how it was a reality, though, very scary. $250,000 a year to unemployed at the stroke of a pen.
Oh my God.
And how many people can become unemployed when their body breaks down?
Yeah,
and
that's pretty
so broke down because of not proper eating and proper care of my body, and didn't realize that how important it was. My most important piece of equipment was my body, and I was running it like a machine that broke down.
I think we can all. I think a lot of us who are out there and doing all kinds of things active can do that. We can run our body into the ground. I did that. I think that's why I got cancer. I wasn't paying attention to it. It was like the body said, when your body says, "Hey, stop! What are you doing?
Guess what? We're going to put you horizontal."
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. You're going to figure it out, girl, or not.
Or not. Right, exactly.
And I know that you help people figure that out. So tell me what this ZYTO body scanner is.
The Zyto scanner is Zyto scanner. It scans 172 points on the body, and so it's like an internal body map. So within 5 minutes, we get everything charted out on what's happening in the organ systems, the acupuncture points, the spine, and the teeth, and it's all connected together. And then we can map it all out to see: is it a structural situation? Is it a nutrition situation? Is it an emotional? And so then that's one test that I do of many tests that I do to determine where to start to put a specific plan together for each client because everybody's very unique.
So all of the plans that you do for clients are customized?
Oh yes.
And you do this Zyto scanning in your office? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. I didn't realize that.
Yep.
And what types of things, and teeth, you said teeth, that's interesting.
Yeah, because the teeth, emotions are connected to the teeth, all organ systems are connected to the teeth. And so, yeah, you can connect it all together. So,
no, I didn't know that. I mean, I knew that the heart issues like that.
No, your teeth health, your mouth health, oh my gosh, it is the most critical and important because if your teeth aren't really healthy, you can't actually chew your food enough to get enough saliva mixed in it so that you're going to digest it properly. No, dental health is absolutely.
Well, and we had the CEO from Delta Dental on who was saying that, but now I understand even more. That's incredible.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
Now, in the last few months, you have taken part in Z Health mobility training, and you've enrolled in a master training program.
Yes, that is correct.
And then I want you to talk about Nepal a little bit.
Okay, sure. Absolutely.
Start with this, and then we'll go into that.
Okay, so Z Health is mobility training, and so Dr. Eric Cobb, started the whole training process. He was a chiropractor, and he decided to start working with some elite athletes on their mobility and moving. And he determined then, after a few years, why should athletes only be the ones have access to this proper moving? And so he went and started working with regular practitioners, not just with personal trainers. And so other practitioners can now take part. And I'm in the master's program, so I'll become a master Z Health trainer and just helping people to move. Because if you are a grandparent on the floor with your grandchildren, you're an athlete.
Yeah, that's true.
And you got to be moving, and you got to be able to, because the grandparents are kind of picking up more grandchildren in situations more now than ever. And so they need to be able to pick them up and care for them.
And Colorado's an active state. I mean, we have tons of people that I go seeing on group day at Loveland, and there's like everybody up there is like, I'm like young at 62. I mean, it's like there's 80-year-olds, and they're just like kicking butt going down the hill.
They are.
You know?
Yeah.
This is and if you want to still do that, you know, when says, "Oh, you're still skiing," I'm like, "You darn right I am."
Absolutely.
Because you can't stop.
No. And age is a really bad excuse for stopping. There's processes that happen in the system that people go, "Oh, I've got sore joints. It's because I'm getting old." No, it's because you're not properly digesting
Not taking
food.
care of yourself. Right.
And the digestive enzymes are so important to keep all the body functions properly working right so that you don't deal with stiff sore joints and muscle aches and pains. And so, yeah, when we go to Everest, we don't deal with muscle aches and pains. Well, we're going up to over 17,000 feet, right?
That is awesome. You just got back.
So, yeah, I just got back. And I meet elderly people, like in their 80s, who are going up. And they're moving perfectly fine.
I was hiking Mount Evans here, which is one of our tallest peaks.
Right.
And I was struggling a little bit. And this man comes by me, like, I'm stopped. And he was like, he must have been 90. I mean, I was like, oh my God. He's got his little poles. And I'm like,
yeah. Yeah, you should always be moving.
Always be moving. Always move. So now, how many times have you been to Nepal? I think that's interesting.
5 times.
And what was the choice point that you made to start going there? I know you do some work in the village.
Okay, yes, I have adopted a village, and so the choice point of going there, I was asked by my lead Sherpa, Pem Dorje Sherpa, to go to Everest Base Camp. I'm like, yeah, right, you're smoking crack. I never have been up on a big mountain in my life. And this was 12 years ago. And so he asked me to put a team together. And so I was like, okay, I need a reason why. So I wanted to help with water into his village. He goes, no, help with the school. So I was like, oh, okay. So I prayed about it, and Education Elevated came to mind. So boom, I went, got the domain name, and, doors just started opening. And when doors open easily, you're on the right path. So the nutrition was the right path because through healing my body, I was actually healthy enough because when I sold my photography studio, there's no way I could have gone to Everest. No way. I was not healthy enough. But healing my body through food and being healthy then opened that doorway to even have the opportunity to go to Nepal and Mount Everest. Just to the base camp. We don't hike it. We don't do the big mountain. But anyway, he asked me to go, and then we started the nonprofit, and so I've adopted his village. and it just keeps leading into the next bigger thing and bigger thing within this village.
Now, you said you made your last trip up to the base camp, to the
base camp,
right?
Yes,
but not to the village. You're going back to the village.
Probably not, which will be very disheartening for my husband to hear that probably. We all get kumbuka when we go to Everest Base Camp because of the fine granite, and we're breathing it and it gets stuck in our lungs, and it takes 2 to 6 weeks to clean out. So that's a little tough. But 5 trips up to Everest Base Camp, and now I'll still be going back to
that. Is a dream of mine to go to the base camp. I know I could never do beyond that, but the base camp would be.
It's 17,400 feet, 500 feet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's not bad.
Yeah.
I can do 14, so maybe I can get 3,000 more.
Oh, yeah. You can totally get 3,000 more.
Well, if you go back to the village, I would like to go and help you with the school, if nothing else.
Excellent. Because our next big project, we have a hostel where girls that live 1 to 3 hours away, the parents don't allow them to go to school, so they are housed there at the village. So
Right.
they move into the hostel. We call it a hostel. It's a housing, and we need to build them a new house that's more appropriate for them to be living in. And so we kind of did a dry run for 2 years. It's working out. So now we spotted the land where we're going to build, and next fundraiser is going to be raising money.
Well, I would like to be a part of that and at least make a donation. If I don't have a lot of money, but I'd like to make at least a small one. And I would love to save some money to go with you because I just think that's a bucket list of mine. And I don't want to go do something like that and not leave behind a better footprint than when I went there.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Always making a change wherever you go. Mm-hmm. Like you said, leave a better footprint. Yeah, that's why we're here on this earth.
It is, and helping each other.
Yep.
Jerry, a couple of real quick questions, then we're going to wrap up your interview, and I'm going to show a video coming up right after this, and that video is Betsy and I on the town shopping at Goodwill. We had a blast.
Nice.
Yeah, we had a blast. And we found some really cool stuff, too. I won't spoil the video, but we found some stuff that was like, what? It's how much? And it's worth how much?
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, Jerry, I think we learned about your choice point, which was the fact your health kind of pushed you this direction.
Yep.
What is your global statement to women who need to make a change, want to make a change, or maybe they're sitting there thinking, gee, I've let myself get old and I can't get off the couch, or I'm making my world get smaller, whether that's with people in your life or whether that's with, health issues or mobility issues, but we tend to get this way when we get older, and really we should be doing this.
Right.
And what is your global statement?
Always live beyond what you think, and if you're not being stretched and challenged, then you really need to kind of step back and really take a look at what you're doing. Like before I watch a new TV program or read a book, I always ask myself, how will this change my life tomorrow? Okay, if it's really not going to change my life tomorrow, I just don't engage.
That's actually a really good point.
It's like, why? Because it's a wasted time, because the only non-recoverable thing you have in life is time. And so you can't ever get time back. You can get money back, you can get a business back, jobs, whatever. That's just stuff, but you can't get time back. So really ask yourself, what are you doing with your time? And then when something's laid on your heart or you have a dream, just go for it, because the right people are going to guide you. And when the doors start opening easily, that's when you know you're going down the right path.
That's great. That's great advice. Now I'm going to ask you a girlfriend question. Let me see. We don't have the cards here today.
Oh, no. Don't ask me who I first dated.
No, I won't ask you that. I'm going to ask you, let's see. Tell me about your first pet. What was your first pet?
Oh, my first pet was a little tiny, squeaky, barky dog named Pixie.
Oh, that's so
cute. And we were little kids, and it was the only little dog we ever had. And then we got big dogs after that. But her name was Pixie, and she was just the cutest.
What was she?
I don't even know.
Some little hairy or not hairy?
Not hairy, short hair, and she was, oh my gosh, I haven't thought of her in like.
There you go, Pixie.
Ages. Wow.
And our pets are, so especially our first ones, we never forget them.
Yeah.
That's great.
Excellent.
All right. Well, Jerry, I really appreciate being here. We're going to show a video in just a couple minutes, so we're both going to slide to the side, and we're going to watch the shopping extravaganza at Goodwill. We love Goodwill. They're one of our partners. Here we go.
Thank you so much.
We're at the Goodwill, and I don't know if you really understand how many resources you can find at Goodwill. For instance, I was looking through the books. This book, Simple Abundance, is actually a book that I own, that I paid retail for, and here it is at the Goodwill. In the paperback section, the cool thing is so many resources, so many brand spanking new books have been recycled here and kept out of the landfills. And of course, everything you buy at Goodwill helps the world and helps their programs for education helps give these jobs and helps our community. Better yet, I found this amazing book, right? And I was thinking, if I could just get an insight for my life, and I found written here on page 15, the truth about men. That they're controlling, men are scared of relationships, men hate commitment, men are selfish, men are strong, men are beautiful, men are sexual, men don't tell the truth. And what else is in the book? Men are loving. Women, let's hear about women. Women are sensitive. Women can be controlling. Love is scary. Love is wonderful. There's something else. Somebody else's life. Everything else is lying. Sometimes I say, well, there's miscellaneous racks. And on the racks, you find some little finds here, right? Here's a nice dress pants. Oh, very nice. Tiger dress pants. Really nice waistband. Oh, oops, they're men. Okay, there you go.
But they're nice.
They're nice.
And the Joseph A. Bank shirt.
There's a Joseph A. Bank shirt. New condition $4.90 that are outdoors and want to bring their kids skiing. That stuff costs a lot of money, and it's good for one season, and they outgrow it. Look at this. Great down vest. It's $2.99. You can pay at least $35. Ski pants. Those kids when they're out there taking their ski lessons and classes. Those kids, all the suggestions. More ski pants. Believe me, you don't want to buy this for one season only. One season, spend a fortune. Come here, spend $10. You're all outfitted for the kids to take ski lessons and get up to Loveland or one of those great ski areas and take them out and have some fun. Okay, after you take your kids skiing, here's the next best thing. Ready? It's crutches. You can get crutches for you after your kids beat you down. Even if it's to the fun, and I can say I found my holiday cards, handmade holiday cards. I'd like to support Goodwill. I earned the designation Master Thrifter from Thrift Denise herself, Susan Brew. Because look what I found. This is probably a $300 Joseph ripoff, really beautiful piece. Like I have one piece of my wardrobe ever of this. And then I've got this wonderful wet seal leather jacket. Again, wet seal leather jacket, a whopping $14.99 for this beautiful, great condition, neutral, fun zipper piece. And this is a must get. Okay, I collect white pottery. This is my 103rd piece, and I found it at the Goodwill, and it was half of $3.99. It's 50% off today, so I'm so happy to have adopted another child of white pottery. And here's my bag of wonderful stuff. I even bought something for you, Deb Scarpella, at the Goodwill, because you work for Goodwill. So don't forget the first Denise semester are coming in November. You too can go to all the Goodwills and have fun. I even found a date.
They're back in. That was our trip to Goodwill. Betsy and I had a great time. Hey, we're going to talk about the recap today. Today's show was just amazing. We had, first we started out with Jonine, who was with the Center of Relationship Education, and she gave us some great tips on relationships, that it really is about the relationship before it's about anything else. And in addition to that, we had, and my takeaway from that was exactly that. It's about the relationship. Next, we had Sina Milanazzo, and she is from the North Metro Chamber, has Liberty Communications, as well as a couple of other businesses here in the metro area. We learned about how she made her journey to becoming a all-star businesswoman, taking the business from startup to over $1 million a year this year projected. That's great stuff. And her advice to people was to just jump in. Don't just put the toe in the water, right? If you're going to do it, it's not a hobby. And I think that was great advice. And then we had Jerry here. And Jerry just got back from Nepal. She has a business that helps you stay mobile and works on your body, both nutrition and your health and mobility. And we learned the importance of that, and that we really can stay active all of our lives and have a more, even if it doesn't increase your life, length of your life, it's certainly going to increase the quality of your life. And we learned a little bit about her trip to Nepal and her nonprofit organization that supports a village there in the base of there a little bit prior to the base camp in Nepal. And she's going to make another trip back there. We're going to try to get some people and some money raised to help them with that school. So it's been really great. This is our first toe dip, I guess, and I don't want to say that because we just used it, but our first jump into video, some of our video interviews. Hopefully we'll be able to do some more of those for people who are coming from around the world. Betsy is in Argentina, and she's making some great relationships for us there and talking to some folks that internationally that will be guests on the show eventually. So we miss Betsy, but she will be back in 2 weeks and on the show and ready to tell us all about her trip and all the great things that Argentina and South America have to offer. And in addition to that, I wanted to share some upcoming events that are taking place. You heard about the Thriftinista bus. That is November 17th. So if you want to go to Goodwill and find good deals like that, you can check it out on campexperience.com. On the website, there's a calendar. Or you can go to our Facebook page and learn more, which is Boost Power Radio. And you can learn more about those great opportunities to go on the bus. That thing is fun, I'm telling you. And you find a unicorn. I bought both of those things. Betsy was holding up. While she wasn't looking, I grabbed them and bought them. And then it was half price day, so the leather jacket was $7, and the $400 jacket was like $3. It was great. Some other things that are coming up this week: TEDx in Cherry Creek. It's Cherry Creek Women, and it's on November 30th, and so you can get that by going to TEDxCherryCreek.com. There's some great friends of ours that are speaking that are just incredible women. I think you'll really enjoy that. We have a network kickoff party, which is at the Mainstream Boutique, December 6th. That is for the Camp Experience Network, but it's open to everyone, and it is free. So you can go to the Mainstream Boutique December 6th from 5 to 8 for some fun and shopping and great deals that are only available that night, and meeting other women that are like-minded and on purpose and on task with becoming community leaders. Mile High United Way, the 22nd, is their annual Mile High United Way on November 22nd is the 22nd annual turkey trot. It's a great way to spend Thanksgiving. Instead of gaining 5 pounds, you can lose it and help somebody else too. And that's UnitedWayOfDenver.org/turkey trot. So you can go to UnitedWayDenver.org turkey trot for that and get more information. Also, it's United Way's Children's Holiday Party, December 8th, from 9 to 2 p.m. And you can find out more about that, how you can help some kids and provide gifts by going to UnitedWayDenver.org. And it's under their signature events category. I was going to also mention that Colorado Gives Day is coming up December 4th, and you can make early donations starting now by going to coloradogives.org. And in addition to that, as you all know, I work at Camp Wapi Api, which is a summer camp for children. It's free who have pediatric cancer and their siblings. And if you're so inclined, we would greatly appreciate a donation for this Colorado Gives Day. And simply go to coloradogives.org and look up Wapi Api, and you can learn more about the organization or make a donation. We are just about wrapping it up. We've got a couple of minutes left. I'm going to mention that we've got, what's the next show, Megan? I forgot. You know what the next show is? I don't have it in front of me, so I was going to tell you what's coming up next. Well, it'll be good, whatever it is. It might be on my page. I wasn't reading my script. Let me take a look. Here we go. All right, here we go. All right, after all. The next show, what a superstar show we've got on, here we got a superstar show. This is great. Our Good Works is going to be Laura Stewart. I love Laura. She is like the #1 realtor in Denver, Home Smart Realty Group. She's always been voted in 5280 for like many, many, many years as a top realtor. She's not the only one, but she is one of the top realtors in Denver, and she's our top realtor. We love her. Our Thought You Knew segment is going to be the Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce. Been a member of that for many years in the past, and Betsy and I both love that organization. It's great. If you haven't gone, you can be a guest and go on their website and get a ticket and go to one of their lunches. That's luncheons. It's phenomenal. Great connections. Great organization. And the good news segment will be Lindy Royer, and Lindy is from Park Meadows Center for Movement, and they have yoga. They have all kinds of things there, and physical therapy and other types of activities that are great for you. So it's always good. And it's always going to be a good time, especially with these 3 women coming up in 2 weeks. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off and just say goodbye. We miss Betsy. She'll be back in 2 weeks. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Rhonda Shea, and you've been listening to Boost Power Radio on KUHSDenver.com.